So you're sitting at home on a Saturday night and you get a call from the local police. You just found out that your husband and child have been in a car accident due to a drunk driver crossing the center line and hitting head on. This is a call that I never want to get. But if you guys want to get this call, this is a very serious situation which no one should have to deal with. Drunk driving can be avoided. It has been a very large issue as long as I can remember continues to give us problems going down the road. Drunk driving does have a solution, we just have to address it. If we do not address drunk driving, we will continue to have unnecessary casualties. Families will suffer, and the people who are drinking and driving will never learn if we don't address this. If we don't address drunk driving, there will be a ton of unnecessary casualties. In 2012, MAD reported that 9,878 people died because of drunk driving accidents. This seems like a very large number just for going out and having a few beers and deciding to drive. If we do not continue to push, we will continue to see these casualties going down the road. Drunk driving is something that I consider is very unnecessary. We have a ton of other problems to deal with, whether it's homicides, suicides, anything other than just having a few beers and jumping in your car. We also have to realize that when these drunk drivers are on the road, they can have a very negative effect on our families. Do we want to put our families in jeopardy because we don't want to crack down harder and have more stern punishment on drunk driving? I know I don't. If we do not continue to monitor drunk driving and control it a lot better, there will be a lot of innocent people who die over this. This is a very serious thing, and we need to continue to go forward with more harsh punishment. Besides the unnecessary casualties, there are a lot of families who will suffer because of drunk driving. This has a very negative impact on children. It's basically giving them the idea that drunk driving is alright because the punishment is not harsh enough. It also puts a very hard strain on families who are involved in drunk driving. So say your daughter or son is involved in an accident and is killed. This puts a very hard emotional strain on your family and can lead to many other problems down the road. Besides the emotional strain, there's also a potential for a financial strain if the children are involved with someone who has been convicted of a DUI. This takes a lot of extra time and money out of the person's life, and they may even lose their job, which will then have an even harsher punishment on the children who don't deserve this. Matt has also reported the deaths, which is another huge factor for the families. Besides this, I've also found a source that says that teens who are drinking has increased dramatically, and this will increase the people who are out on the road after drinking, and then will also put more strain on us. Besides the unnecessary casualties and the family suffering, the offenders who are committing the DUIs will never learn if we don't become more stern with them. As of now, NOLO has reported that on your third offense, you will only pay $200 to $1,000 in fines. Is that really enough? In my opinion, it's not. Most people make $300 to $400 a week. They could cover this in less than 2 weeks to a month. That, in my eyes, should be at least tripled. NOLO has also reported that on your third offense, the minimum is 1 year in jail. This is not a long enough time, in my opinion. If you've already had 2 chances, you deserve such a more harsh punishment than just 1 year in jail. I believe that everyone should deserve at least one chance. Yes, everybody messes up. But by the third chance, we should start to learn more and correct ourselves rather than keep doing the same crimes that we've seen in the past. Is this really the offender's fault that he continues to have DUIs? It is, but it is also part of our fault because we're not cracking down on the punishment. So if someone gets pulled over for a DUI and the lower limit for jail time is 3 years maybe, then this will deter them to drive a little less when they're drinking. And there are also people who will not learn at all. So drunk driving can be avoided. It's something that we all just have to address. You don't let your friends into the car, you don't get into the car, and if you see any suspicious activity, notify the police. If we do not continue to address drunk driving, there will be unnecessary casualties. Families will be put in strain and suffer, and the offenders will never learn. After doing some research, I had found an incident that was caused by a drunk driver. This is a crash that took place due to a drunk driver. As you can see, the car is mangled, and it is likely that the people did not survive. This is something that we can all avoid by just not getting in the car and following the law. The next time you decide to go to the bar with your friends or go to a family event or whatever and you have a few beers, don't get in the car and don't let your family get in the car. There are many other options. Hop in with somebody else. We don't want to be on the road and put anybody else in danger. Again, we have to think about the children and our future, not about having a few beers and driving home from it. We need to continue to push the punishment so the families do not suffer, so the offenders will learn, and so there are not as many unnecessary casualties. These casualties are going to continue to haunt us until we do learn, until we do make the offenders learn, until we do put our foot forward and say, we're not going to deal with this anymore. This will also take a lot of strain off the police force and a lot of strain off the families involved with the DUIs. The drunk driving is a huge issue. We may think it is, or we may think it's not. But as I have presented, you can see there are several consequences that come from drunk driving, whether it's the strain on the family or the car crash that I showed you moments ago. This is something that none of us want to be involved in. We don't want to get the call at home that said our family had been involved in the accident that I showed you, and the car had been totaled out. So next time you think about it, and you want to get in the car after having a few drinks, you should tell yourself, no, I'm not going to do this, because it will put more strain on my family. I won't learn based off the experience because